你们是 form 大这个都还会用哈 ？How do you get in everything? Because they keep on changing all different format. So we'll continue on 16, repair. Oh, I think we finished the repair. 17. Proration of property tax. Okay. Here. Okay, we're starting on the paragraph 17. Proration of the property tax and other items. Unless otherwise agreed in writing, the following items shall be paid currently and prorated between the buyer and seller at close of escrow. Real property tax and assessment, interest, rent, HOA regular, special and emergency due and assessment imposed prior to close of escrow. Premium on insurance assumed by the buyer. Payment on bond and assessment assumed by the buyer. And payment on middle roofs and other special assessment, district bond and assessment that are now a lien. The following items shall be assumed by the buyer without credit toward the purchase price. Prorate payment on middle roofs and other special assessment, district bond and assessment and HOA special assessment that are now a lien but not yet due. Property will be reassessed upon changing of ownership. Any supplement tax bill shall be paid as follows. 1. The period after close of escrow by buyer, and 2. For period prior to close of escrow by seller. So tax bill issued after close of escrow shall be handled directly between buyer and seller. Proration shall be made based on a 30 days month. So as usual, whatever the proration we did is like, doesn't matter like February, or it's last month now. Today is March 1st. 28, it's still divided by 30. Any month like July, August, 31 days, still divide by 30. So it doesn't matter which month you folded, divide by 30 as a proration. And also, if you look at it, we all know when is the property tax, right? The due date, because the buyer will ask you. Some people just first time they buy the home, they don't know when to pay the property tax. That's a due date, yes. November 1st and February 1st, that's a due date. But what's a delinquent date? That's most important. After that, it's going to be a late payment. April 10th, that's the second installment. What's the first installment? December 10th. So you're going to have to explain. The property tax, I know, is really hard to explain. Their fiscal year is starting on July 1st. Then until, that's the first installment, July 1st to December 30th. The second installment is following year, January 1st to June 30th. It's not like a whole year. I know a lot of people say, oh, that's a whole year. No, not on the property tax. Who made that rule? I don't know. But I know it's odd. That's the way it is. Okay? So when you look at it, so another thing is that when you did not receive the property tax, especially a new buyer, and what's then the buyer said, then I don't have to pay. Wrong. You did not receive it? Too bad. You gotta have to go online. They don't care did you receive the mailing or not. So as a buyer's agent, as a courtesy, if you remember, I would say, if you remember, remind your buyer, probably on November 1st, have you paid your property tax yet? Oh, I thought I paid in an escrow. Oh, okay. When you pay an escrow, it really depends. You have to look at the estimated closing statement. If you are falling into like early year, definitely you need to starting, you know, the if you close before say June 30th, definitely you need to pay the property tax because that's a new year. But if you close at August, You still need to pay. Why? If you look at the closing statement, seller credit buyer for whatever the amount from July 1st to August, say 15, if you close the escrow 15. But if you close the escrow in October, okay, that's really close. So what happened is usually the escrow will pay, say, I'll collect from July 1st to say October 15th. That's if the closing date. That's a seller's portion. Buyer's portion from October 16th to December 30th. That's a buyer's portion. Then they get the money, pay the tax assessor office. But we don't assume. We review the closing statement again. Because closing statement will show. If you show seller portion and buyer portion, okay, then you know escrow will pay. But also you need to remind the buyer, you will have a supplemental tax coming up the following year. Usually what I see, they paying somewhere in between May, that's a first installment, and another installment is August the following year. And that is the differences between the buyer's purchase price and my seller's original purchase price and the new buyer's purchase price. Whatever the difference is, you have to make that up. So that's why I'm telling you, every government, every county, they love us. Every time we do the transaction, they make money. Well, especially on seller's market. Well, the only time they're losing money is when the buyer's market going down, okay? That's the only time. But most likely in Southern California or Northern California, they love us because usually we're going up. We're hardly going down. Even we're going down, we come back up. Sooner or later, they have plenty of money. Last time I think I mentioned it to you, it's like out of a 50 county in California, Los Angeles County is the most richest county. And they collect the most on the property tax. About what? How much? $11.8 billion per year. That's last year. And thinking about this year, easily exceeding what? $12 billion. 1 year. One county. Number 2 is San Francisco. Yeah. Oh, the regular property tax, all property tax, all of them. Oh, definitely, not the new one, definitely. What I'm saying, they're collecting all property tax just in one county. That's amazing. That's amazing. I can tell you that it could be the one county property tax, it could be more than one country in Africa on their total revenue. Yeah, just the property tax alone, that's amazing. And number 3 is Orange County, $8.7 billion. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. So that means is the certainly state doesn't really. California state is poor. I can tell you that. Okay. A lot of people think California is so rich. No, not really. The state government is poor, really poor. The only thing rich is a county. And you know who is LA County, Orange County, San Diego County, San Francisco County. County is rich. But how come the state is poor? Because the middle of California, they are really, really poor. Like Bakersfield, Fresno. What do you think? I know. Okay. Because Bakersfield, that's what I heard. I don't know if they ever change it though. You have to buy the land first before the builder they can build. Because builder they are afraid to build it and nobody buy. It's not like the movie. If you build it, they will come. No, not in Bakersfield. If you build it, sometimes nobody comes still because you don't have enough job opportunity. Not only that, what's the Bakersfield? What the business they are doing? agriculture. Then what do you do on agriculture now? All put it in automatic, right? GPS driving the tractor. Yeah, you just sit in the office. One man can run whole field. Well, what's the job employment over there? Nah, nothing. Yeah. So that's why um, I don't I don't I don't know how they can get more job opportunity because it will get less. And now if the artificial intelligence getting more popular, they can drive everything away. Yeah, especially assembly people, just like Amazon. You think they make most of the money? Actually, they are lay off lots of people. Mhm. They don't need the warehouse people. They say, okay, they just need two to control the whole warehouse. One turn the computer on, the other one to shut it down. That's it. Yeah, I say, why I need the people to watch the warehouse no more? But I would say Southern California probably will keep on booming if that's uh, uh, Trump. They go through the budget. Trump actually order the military. They got to increase the military budget, and they got to increase another 70,000 missile. They Trump, they just order another 70,000 missiles. That's a lot. If we build a missile here, where? If you see those building, no, 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 LAX. Did you see that right next to 105 on the side, on the south side of 105, Raytheon, Bowen? What's that building for? That's how they design the tracking system on the missile. But that's a company. I didn't know that until one of my school classmate, actually 1 year older than I do, from Taiwan, and I say, yeah, I've been working for Bowen and Raytheon. I don't know how many years, 20 some 30 years. What do you do? Missile. Oh, every time we get in, we gotta have to get all the metal stuff. Okay, including cell phone. Yeah, no cell phone in the office. You gotta put everything stored in the security area. Then you get in. They say even we have a cell phone, you cannot call anyway. They have the frequency distortion. No signal. No signal in their building on cell phone. They're afraid somebody just leak the information. That's a top secret. Yeah, that's a top secret. They say, oh, I'm from this building to the next building. Oh, they're about the same anyway. And a few years later, they want me back. So they're from this building to this building, from Bowen to Raytheon, Raytheon to Bowen. They're all the same. And just like, last time I looked at it, for the artificial intelligence, I don't think our job will be replaced by artificial intelligence yet, or not that quick. Because we are taking the negotiation. That is something may not be. I know the artificial intelligence, they're getting smarter and smarter. They can cheat, they can lie, okay? But sometimes they could be, I don't know how they can be so creative, but not yet. But just like Boeing, actually they sell less on the airplane than Airbus. But they make most of the money because they create more on their manufacturer. It's more robot to create, to build the all the parts. So they actually make more money. So the same thing, Boeing, they lay off the employee. So just like Amazon, they lay off about like 10,000 worldwide, and then now they got Amazon Go, so they can. It's a no man people, no man store. You get in, you get out. It's been count. Okay, yeah. So those are, you'll see it, probably next 5 years. And I'm actually waiting to see, what's our changes. But one thing I can see that really quickly, at least, for the later on, people can probably see the house with us, just wear the goggle of VR, virtual reality, the VR goggle. Just like, we shooting the, when people maybe out of country, they using for the FaceTime. When you see the house, your client on the other side, they see it too. Yeah. But now you can draw the 3D diagram on the whole house now. So when they take the photo, you can have a 3D virtual tour. So it try to create more on the real sensitivity, for when you see the whole house. But until the technology, because they shooting the 3D, but when we look at it as a 2D through the TV or screen, okay? Until if we really, people can really look at it as they shooting the 3D virtual tool, and we wear the 3D virtual VR goggle, then you can really see you are in the house like that. So the good way, we don't really have to explain much to the buyer what the house looks like, how they feel like, because you may not even need to see the house and submit offer. Did you ever thought about that? A lot of listing agents say, don't submit offer if don't submit a blind offer. But who knows? A couple of years later, blind offer, that's regular. People doesn't have to get in because you got a virtual tour plus a virtual reality goggle, 3D or 3D. Yeah. Possible. Yeah. So I just like see, what we have to bring more value, what we have, especially buyer's agent. Because I said, why you need a buyer's agent for? Knock the door? Yeah. But the good thing is, if the vacant house, probably you don't need it. But I mean, I know some of a buyer, a lot of them still, you like to talk to the seller if it's possible, especially when we show the property. They like to ask the seller a lot of questions. What's your water bill? What's your gardener, or what's the electricity bill? A lot of questions they may ask, and those are cannot be replaced. Okay, that's probably our issue as the last resort to be eliminated. Even on a financial institution, they don't need people to exchange stock anymore. A lot of a mutual fund, people they probably get laid off pretty soon. Yeah, they can just control by AI. They can make more money than the real person. They can do better analysis. Yeah, that's right. That's why yesterday I heard something from the Brian Buffini podcast. It's like, we will make mistake. Okay, you and me. Okay, you'll make mistake. Mistake won't make you. Yeah, we'll make a mistake, but mistake won't make you. So the mistake actually is from us. So don't. So basically, it's like don't blame other people. I know it's like when we make a mistake, we try to find a reason. Yeah, but so that's why kind of scary, huh? Okay, I'm glad I'm still in the right job, because I never thought about it. I thought about a financial institution, they will get laid off, a lot of them, but they never thought about that soon. The next probably year or two. Yeah. Yeah. They all they need is a computer, AI to control everything. They don't need people to do the analysis anymore. The only thing the people they still need to stay is for those richest full service client. You need a full service broker. Because more and more we will find out in our field, it will have a discount broker coming out. Right? Redfin? The other one, Purple Brick? Did you heard about that company? Purple Brick. I think they're from England. They are more like a discount broker. You make it we'll try to set up the appointment. Probably not many agents still doing that, but I mean more and more agents were doing starting. You set up the showing appointment online, right? So we have a showing time. I like that. So they will notify me as a listing agent and respond, back to the buyer's agent. But the one thing I found out, that's one thing they cannot get the full service. That's one. When somebody needs a full service, they stay. For example, okay, I set up the time, they rejected. I set up another time, rejected. Then I call the service and wait a minute, what time they are available? Aha. So the operator from Purple Brick, they have to ask the seller, when are you available? Haha. Then we still need to talk, right? The computer cannot do everything. When are you available to show? Because otherwise you keep on rejecting, you're wasting my time. Oh, then it's later. Oh, because this and because that. So we got to postpone till, okay, whatever the day. Oh, okay. Then we set up that day for showing. So the good thing, on the computer doesn't really replace us for most of our things because we still need to communicate. Yeah, set up the appointment. It's not like go to doctor appointment. Okay, doctor, they set up the appointment. Seller is not doctor or attorney. They don't have a set, working hour on the showing time, right? When I'm home, I show. When I'm not home, I cannot show. It's not vacant property, so it's different. Yeah. Okay, so basically what you see here, the proration, not just a property tax, also homeowner association, and also middle rules or special assessment tax, they all prorated when you purchase, right? Rent, yes. If you buy the investment property, yeah, that's good. Rent, actually, they will prorated the rent, and also the seller will pass the deposit to the new buyer, if they have deposit. So that's why, just let you know, if the income property, you gotta see all the lease agreement, all of them. Doesn't matter how many units. 4 units, 10 units, 20 units, you want to see all the lease agreement. Then I request all the tenant estoppel. I know that's tough. If you're buying the bigger property, 20 units, you need 20 tenant estoppel. Because we are not just, we don't believe the seller may tell us the true rent. Because sometimes the rent, it could be on the table. Because I happen to like Section A. If like one of the units is Section A. Section A only allow this amount. But then they really want that unit. They're willing to pay cash to the landlord. So that's why they pay under table. But on the lease agreement, doesn't show. But on the tenant estoppel, because nothing related to the, so they will write it on the memo and say, this is how much they pay, but plus how much cash. So lender want to see it if you're financing. Lender want to see the tenant estoppel. It happened one of a case to our coworker. One of the tenant did not sign a tenant estoppel and cannot get financing. One, just one. They cannot finance. They cannot fund it because that one tenant, they want money. You want me to sign? Pay me. Damn you. Especially on those areas with the rent control. I can tell you that the unit that happened in Chinatown. Chinese, sneaky. You know how much they asked for? $100,000. 100,000. It's not 1,000. It's $100,000. Not 10,000. 10,000. The buyer probably will give it to him. It's $100,000, and that's a $1.68 million property. Suddenly become what? 1.78? Yeah. Too greedy, right? So that actually the property fell out of escrow back and forth 5 times. 5 times. Take over a whole year to sell that. Finally, I heard that particular occupant, they need to move into senior home and they need a landlord recommendation. Ha ha! We exchange. I'll sign it for you. You sign tender estoppel. No more money. No, they ain't got no money. You want 100,000? I don't sign it. You don't move into senior home. So be it. You know, on the rent control area, the senior is terrible. I dealt with that before. If you want to kick those senior out, you need to pay premium. I think probably about almost $15,000 per unit for those senior. $15,000 per unit. That's a LA city housing rule. And if the anybody is not senior, anyone is 55 years old and under. I don't know why they consider 55 years old as a senior. I hate that because I'm almost there. I only get some benefit, you know, with my gray hair. I get at McDonald's. People give me 99. Give me the 75 cents coffee. They thought I'm senior. It's a 99 cents. No, 75 cents. Damn. Even go to the superintendent. They say, come on. Oh, I can give you the senior discount. You forgot a coupon? Okay. They're very kind. But when I play golf, hey, you know, on golf course, a senior is 65 years old. And you need a senior car. I cannot. Sometimes they don't ask because, you know, all of my golf buddies, most of them, they are over 65 years old. So if I sneak it, oh, okay, yeah, they're paying one. I say, sometimes they just slip through. Okay, I can't put it at. Okay. And sometimes they will ask, are you senior? I cannot lie to them, right? No. Okay. I pay more. They probably pay $16. I got to pay $30. The same thing if it's walking. Yeah. Then if it's riding, that's probably $40 or more. Yeah. So, you know, if you're looking at as a 55 years old and that's considered senior. So anybody if not senior, if in LA County, about LA City rent control area, and you need to probably pay them $10,000 if you want to, you know, kick them out for no reason. It's not like eviction or something. It's just because you want to sell the property and their rent is too low, and if the buyer demand the seller, you know, evict the tenant because their rent is too low, because you can only increase 3% per year. But most of investors, when they buy those units, you know what they plan to do? They plan, if the land is big enough, they plan to knock it out and rebuild. Because the rent control only happened for those buildings built before 1978. If I build a brand new one, I don't have to, under the law, I don't have to do, you know, worry about the rent control anymore. And I can rent whatever I want. And you talk about Chinatown, believe me, some people still love to stay there. Yeah. And if I get a brand new building for 8 units and become 20-some units, hey, I can easily double the rent. All right, 18, broker. Those are pretty straightforward. Compensation, seller and buyer and both are applicable. Agree to pay the compensation to broker as specified in the separate written agreement between broker and that seller or buyer. Compensation is payable upon close of escrow, or if escrow does not close as otherwise specified in the agreement between broker and that seller or buyer. That means if we get a compensation, usually listing broker, they can split the compensation with the seller. You know, that's part of a listing agreement. I will cover that later. Okay. B, scope of duty. Buyer and seller acknowledge, agree the broker does not decide what price buyer should pay or seller should accept. 2, does not guarantee the condition of the property. 3, does not guarantee the performance, adequacy, or completeness of inspection, service, product, repair provided by or made by seller or other. 4. Does not have an obligation to conduct the inspection of common area or area of the site of the property. 5. Should not be responsible for identify defect on property in common defect area of the property or are known to the broker. 6. Shall not be responsible for inspection, public record, or permits concerning the title or use of the property. This paragraph, you gotta have to know is because this is protecting us. See, a lot of people, they cannot after us because public record or permit concerning the title of use. If there's somebody want to sue us, you know where to fight back. Number 7, shall not be responsible for identifying the location of a boundary line and other item affecting title. We do suggest the buyer to hire the surveyor if they really do concern the boundary, but we are not responsible right here. Number 8, shall not be responsible for verify square footage and representation and other or information contained in investigation report, multiple listing service, advertisement, flyer, and other promotion material. Whatever we put it on, we're not responsible. That's pretty bad, huh? Well, or as a buyer, say, I didn't put it on, listing agent put it on. So, buyer, you have to verify yourself. Square footage, we can only put, that's why I say, when somebody challenged me on the square footage, not only here, the scope of duty, and also the buyer advisory, they also have it. Well, you sign it, you initial, done. Buyer, you have a question about the square footage. You have to deal with it. Yeah. Number 9, shall not be responsible for determine the fair market value of the property or any personal property, including the sale. Well, a lot of overpricing or offering. So sometimes we will have them to signing on another addendum called the market condition. So you are willing to pay more. That's your issue. You know the market price, and you're willing to pay more. That's a buyer's. Okay. So those are kinds of addendum protecting us. But here is already mentioned that. Number 10, should not be responsible for providing legal or tax advice regarding any aspect of a transaction entering into the buyer or seller. When somebody telling us, why don't you tell me about the tax stuff or the legal issue? You tell them, I say, I'm the real estate agent. Even I telling you, I'm still not responsible. You gotta have to let them know. I'm still not responsible for whatever I tell you because I didn't carry a license. So I'd rather don't tell you the wrong information. Why don't you find out yourself? Whatever I tell you, it could be BS. But some of a simple one you can tell them, but if you know. But other than that, and number 11, should not be responsible for providing other advice or information that exceed the knowledge, education, and experience required to perform real estate license. All we do is real estate, nothing else. Any inspection, anything else? No more. Just real estate only. And buyer and seller agree to seek legal, tax, insurance, title, and other desired assistance from appropriate professional. So that means as buyer and seller, they have to agree. This part of it. But I know lots of agents, they never mention that. This paragraph actually protecting us. Okay, if you say anything ahead of time, buyer, they have to be aware. All the situation they have to face it, not relying on buyer's agent. So buyer's agent is not that easy to earn our compensation. Actually, we have to do a lot. A lot of people think we are so easy to make the money because we got a lot of lousy agents. They do nothing and still earn the commission, the compensation. Actually, the buyer's agent, that's a due diligence. Technically, you help the buyer doing this, but you're still not responsible for it. Okay? But that's create the value of the buyers. You can be a lousy buyer's agent, believe me, you don't get the referral. If you want to get a referral business, you go the extra miles with the buyer. You go with them to the city or county to find out the permits, or tax assessor area. You know, if anything, people has a doubt for any tax issue, but you have to bring them, not just go by yourself. Even you tell them, say, I don't have to work with you. That's your job, but I'm willing to go with you. That's on my service, part of my service. So that's why when we talk about when the service come with the dollar sign, the service without the S, when you got a great service, the money will come. Right? Start with the S. The bigger S, the bigger dollar sign. A better service, you got better money will come. Because people remember you. So that's, this part is, important. It just, you gotta have to know how to protecting yourself. Okay, number 19, representative capacity. If one or more party is signing this agreement in representative capacity and not for him or herself as an individual, then the party shall so indicate in the paragraph 31 or 32 later on, at the end of a signature part. Attach a representative capacity signature disclosure. Whether the signature or initial of the representative identified in the RCSD appear on this agreement or any related document, it shall be deemed to be in the representative capacity for the entitled described and not in individual already exist. And 2, shall deliver to the other party and escrow holder within 3 days after acceptance evidence of authority to and in testimonial, court order, power of attorney, corporation resolution, formation document of the business entity. See that? On the representative capacity, what kinds of situation you need it? Kinds of mentioned to you, because later on I will cover that. If it's a living trust, okay, power of attorney. Also on the probate. Because usually the probate is not the person, the seller is already passed away. Or if you're buying with a company, any company, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, whatever company maybe, okay, or partnership, you all need to, signing this. And you need to disclose to the buyers. So the buyer would know who actually signing this. And some people ask me, can it be docu-sign or digitally signed for the representative capacity? Well, yeah, technically you could, but some of a buyer or seller, they don't believe a digitally signature because they say, who knows who signed it? You can sign it. Yeah, if I email to myself, I can sign it. So some people doesn't believe that, but I mean, if the usually they have to bring out an article, seller or buyer, if they want to buy in the company's name or if it's a power of attorney or whatever it may be, or living trust, you have to bring the article, like living trust article or power of attorney, recording document, or if the it's a company, you have to bring the company resolution article. Because you need to prepare that. When you open escrow will ask those documents. 20, joint escrow instruction of the escrow holder. The following paragraph, applicable portion thereof, this agreement constitute the joint escrow instruction of buyer and seller of escrow holder, which escrow holder is used along with any related counter offer and addenda, and any additional mutual instruction to close of escrow. Paragraph 1.3 4B, 5A, 6, 7, 10C, 13, 14G, 17, 18A, 19, 20, 26. You guys can look at it. 29, 30, 31, 32, paragraph D of the section title Real Estate Broker on the page 10. If the copy of the separate compensation agreement provided for in the paragraph 18A, paragraph D of the section title Real Estate Broker of the page 10 is deposited with the escrow holder by the broker, escrow holder shall accept such agreement and pay out from buyer's or seller's fund, or both, any applicable the broker compensation provided for such agreement. The term and the condition of this agreement not set forth in the specified paragraph are additional matter for the information of the escrow holder, but about which escrow holder need not be concerned. Buyer and seller will revise escrow holders' general provision. Just like usually if a listing agent, escrow officer will ask you the first thing, certainly you given the signed purchase agreement, what else they will ask you? What's the commission percentage? How much you need to pay the buyer's agent? Right? They will ask, what's the percentage? If somebody you already know, they don't really have to look at your listing agreement. You just basically tell them, I say, okay, it's a 6%, 3 and 3 split. Okay, they will trust you because they will issue another amendment. Later on, you're gonna let buyer agent sign, and so do seller sign. So they have to reconfirm again. So they don't really have to look at your listing agreement because they will issue, for the commission part, a commission amendment. Let the seller and buyer agent sign it, company sign it, and reconfirm. That's it. If you didn't tell the truth, buyer's agent will, hey, wait a minute. What percentage? Just like our transaction coordinator, they even do the calculation for us. Hey, James, is that correct? How many percent? They will double check on sometimes they double check the MLS. They say, James, how come it's more? Because I asked more. Oh, okay, got it. Sometimes I will ask more commission. Or sometimes I may reduce. It's not every time I ask more. Sometimes because I have to make it happen, I may reduce some of it. Because just move on to the next case. I don't want to hold on to too long. Because the buyer, if you hold too long, it could be gone. Unless they are not ready. That's a different story. If the ready buyer, you watch close to them and hammer the deal if it's good. If a first time, second time, if you did not hammer the deal, then you better have them sit down and say, what's wrong with us? Us. Remember, when we talk about our client, never use I or you. This wording. That's a first person. We have to use we, our, us. I'm with you. Simple. That's pretty much, for the language, you have to use, that you don't, it's all your fault. Oh, no. You cannot say that. What's wrong with us? Us. What do you mean, what's wrong with us? We didn't get the deal on the first one and second one. Do you know what's wrong with us? You tell me. And I don't know. Now, if your buyer asks you, do you know? I say, absolutely. Sometimes purposely. Did not get it. Let them. First time, if they get it, they think they pay too much. Some of us, buyer. I know you might have to work hard, second time and third time, They don't listen to you. But if you sit down and talk to them, I'm pretty sure the third time they will listen to you. But same thing, you will have the most responsible if they get it or not. And I know that it's going to be a lot of pressure because it's going to be lying on your shoulder. I'd rather do that. Because the higher the pressure, I can make a result. No pressure, no result. That's why our job is the top 5 most pressure career in the nation. Oh yeah. We are in the high stress, high pressure. We are nothing less than financial institution. You know what those mutual fund analysis, did they really care Did they lose the money or not? It's not their money.
They still get paid. But if we lose a deal, we don't get paid. That's why we are under lots of pressure and stress. Because we need to survive. We need to get paid. And we have to close the deal, close the escrow.
Okay. And if any of direct from escrow holder will execute such provision within the time specified in paragraph 7C, 1C, to the extent that the general provision as in consistence of conflict that this agreement, the general provision will control as to the duty of obligation of escrow holder only. What's a paragraph 7C, 1C? You guys remember? We have to return the escrow instruction back to them within 5 days. (7C, 1C). The party shall within 5 days after recipient sign and return the escrow holder general provision. If you don't return it to them, then everything could be delayed. Yeah. So that's why. Okay. And this has been printed over there. So it's not like negotiable unless you are changing something, you know, on the separate form, or you put in the days over there. If you know it's going to be delayed more than 5 days. Okay. So that's why they put in the default as a 5 days. 7C, 1C. And also, the escrow HOA or HOA management company and other any fee required by paragraph 7, 10, or elsewhere in this agreement. So the paragraph 7 and 10, those are basically it's a seller need to pay for the HOA document, everything that's on the civil code. Okay. B. A copy of this agreement, including any counter offer and addenda, shall be delivered to the escrow holder within 3 days after acceptance. Purchase agreement have to deliver. Otherwise, how can the escrow open? They don't know anything. So it's not 3 days. Usually, I would say right away. Buyer and seller are authorized. But I mean, you complete paperwork. Sometimes you wait for the say like counter offer to be signed or acknowledged by the buyer's agent. Those are you can tell them to turn it in right away. But you can turn in the major portion like purchase agreement signed by the both party and so the counter offer everything. The acknowledgement you can wait another day or two. Sometimes because those are just acknowledgement, buyer's agent or the buyer they just initial. That's it. But once the seller or buyer sign, that's a done deal. Acknowledgement cannot stop anything. No, so it's not like. I know some of the listing agents, they are so afraid. They say, come on, I need your acknowledgement to open escrow. Fine. I'll initial right away, even when I'm playing golf. Yeah, been there, done that. Okay, I'll give it to you right away. I signed it on my iPhone. Send it. DocuSign it. Yeah, if it's a long weekend, let's open Tuesday. Yeah, that's probably the worst nightmare for the seller. It's an advantage for the buyer. So buyer doesn't have to turn in their initial deposit until like following week, Wednesday or Thursday. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's a long weekend or not. Okay, either Wednesday or Thursday. But during that time, you can do the inspection right away. Anything wrong with the house? I'm out. Yes. Accepted. Your clock start ticking Saturday. Your clock start ticking at Saturday. So who should be no acceptance? Not just, well, buyer definitely no. Who else if the financing? Lender. So usually I would love those loan officer, they're still working on weekend. When I'm not off, you're not off. You could be off from your office. If like, Wells Fargo, BofA, Citibank, I know loan officer, they don't show up during the weekend. But do you have their cell phone number? If they don't give you their cell phone number, I'd rather don't work with them. Because during the weekend, I'm working, you should. Because when I need you, you need to help me. Because actually, all those loan officer on a major bank, well, certainly mortgage broker, they still working. But major bank, they can work from home. They can still get access. Even they're not in the office. But I mean, if those people, even they have a cell phone number, they did not pick up the phone during the weekend, then later on, I will find somebody can substitute them. Because their job is as competed as we do, same thing. A lot of loan agents out there, why should I have to give you or you the loan? I can get him or her or other people a loan. Because most of our buyers rely on, do you have anybody can refer to me, right? Most of them. Then who is in control? We are. Okay. Buyer and seller authorize the escrow holder and subtenant to rely on a copy of the signature as defined in the agreement as original to open escrow and for other purpose of escrow. The validity of this agreement as between buyer and seller are not affected by the title it's not affecting whether or when escrow holder sign this agreement, escrow holder should provide a seller statement of information to title company when received from the seller. If a seller deliver an affidavit to escrow holder to satisfy a seller FIRTA obligation under paragraph 10C, escrow holder should deliver to the buyer a qualified substitute statement that comply with the federal law. FIRTA, that one is for the tax withholding copy. So I will cover that as the disclosure statement after this, finish a purchase agreement. But the statement of information, those are sellers' information. Title company, they need to double check, with the title. See, everything is matched on the seller's, the information. So they containing the seller's name, their address, or could be their driver license number, social security number, their, the current address, their current job, everything. C, broker and a party to the escrow for the solely purpose on the compensation pursuing a paragraph 18A, paragraph D, and the section title real estate broker on paragraph 10, page 10. Buyers and seller irrevocably assigned to the broker compensation specified in paragraph 18A. Irrevocably instruct the escrow holder to disperse those funds to the broker at the close of escrow to pursuing of any of the mutual executing cancellation agreement. Compensation instruction can be amended and revoked only with the written consent of a broker. Buyer and seller should release and hold harmless escrow holder from any liability result from escrow holder payment to broker of compensation pursuing to this agreement. So if you have any dispute between the brokerage and everybody agreed to begin with, for some reason you still have argument, well, you cannot really sue escrow because escrow will not do anything until both parties sign or both brokers sign. That's it. Yeah. So escrow is just a third party. So we usually explain this paragraph in general, to the buyer. Escrow is a third party. They are not interested with both party, buyer or seller. So escrow will not volunteer to do anything until buyer, seller sign or both brokers sign. Bottom line, don't sue them. That's it. D, upon receipt, the escrow holder shall provide the seller and seller's broker verification of the buyer deposit of the fund pursuing to the paragraph 3A and 3B. Once the escrow holder become aware of any of the following, escrow holder should immediately notify all brokers. 1, if the buyer's initial and any additional deposit of a down payment is not made pursuant to this agreement or is not good at time of deposit escrow holder. 2, if the buyer and seller instruct escrow holder to cancel escrow. If you bounce the check on initial deposit, well, you just open the door for seller to cancel you if the seller have a backup offer and better than yours. Then I'm sorry. You know, that's you bounce the check. It's a bad impression. So I don't want your deal. Could happen. Okay? Or buyer cancel. You know, it just say something is an inspection, for example. They're not happy with it, or it's a major issue, and the or sellers already counter, you know, say if they put in the counter, say that's why I try not to encourage you to do that. It's like the so assess condition, no repair or no termite completion. If you found out it's a major repair or find out your termite is so severe, you need to spend $5,000–6,000. I saw those situations happen before, and so sometimes the buyer kind of shaky, say, even, you know, do the fumigation, do the repair, is this house can still stand? Those are situations what I found out through the Bangkok property, because the property usually, you know, been sitting there 2–3 years. Nobody living there, no maintenance, whatever. And you only got leaking roof, you know, when you check in the house, you can see the hole on the roof or something. Come on. That, believe me, it got full of termite and mold too. Yeah. So E, the copy of an amendment that affecting the paragraph agreement on which escrow holder is responsible shall be delivered to the escrow holder within 3 days after mutual execution of the agreement. So any copy of any amendment. So if later on during the escrow, both parties have any issue, the buyers or sellers, they issued addendum. Both parties sign. They send it to the escrow. Escrow will issue amendment. Then buyer and seller sign. That will be a done deal. If, for example, request for repair, is that considered amendment? Yes. It's addendum, buyer seller side. If you want to give the credit, okay, or anything you rather don't put on the you rather don't put in the request for repair, give it to the escrow company, to the escrow officer. What you can do is, like, after buyer and seller sign a request for repair, or seller responding request for repair, so RRR, then you guys are agree with the credit, but you don't want to show the credits for repair, so the lender will turn down the deal. So what do? You changing to addendum. Seller, credit, buyer, how much? Tour on closing cost. It's more like a seller helping a buyer to close. Seller paid a partial of the closing cost to the buyer. Lender cannot against that. Okay? And actually, even lender, they all know, yeah, most likely it's a credit for the repair. But the wording is different. Sometimes, because if they give it a credit or reduce the price or whatever situation happen, lender, they will start suspecting, what's wrong with this house? Is the condition so bad? Shall we have a second opinion, or can we fund the loan? You know, especially termite. If the termite, you say, I want to credit, seller credit $6,000 termite repair to buyer. Believe me, lender doesn't like that. You better complete it, because they know the buyer probably would not do anything, and later on, maybe whole house collapse, and buyer just walk away, and they have a long default. They try to minimize the default for their loan. That's all they care. Okay, 21, 22, they are pretty standard. Remedy for the buyers, for the breach contract, any clause added by the party specified in the remedy. See, they all bold print here, such as a release and the forfeiture of the deposit and making a deposit non-refundable for failure of buyer to complete or pursuing a violation of this agreement shall be deemed invalid unless the clause independently satisfy the statutory liquidated damage required set forth in the civil code. So basically what we got a liquidation damage, what we're following of that. If the buyer failed to complete this purchase because the buyer's default, seller should retain as liquidation damage the deposit actually paid if the property is dwelling with no more than 4 units, one of the which buyer intend to occupy, then the amount retained shall be no more than 3% of the pursuing price. Any exceeding shall be returned to the buyer, except as provided in paragraph 14H. Release of fund will require mutual sign release instruction from both buyer and seller. Judicial decision, arbitration, award. At the time of any increased deposit, buyers and sellers shall sign a separate liquidation damage provision incorporated in increased deposit as a liquidation damage.
If you increase the liquidation damage, then those are, you need to sign a separate form. Or if you want to include it,
because when you try to get the deal, you do whatever you can. I can increase deposit up to 10% instead of 3%.
Oh,
okay, boy, this is serious.
And
even you signing, they say,
if I default, I'm willing to give you all of them, all the deposit.
Wow, that's 10%.
If seller want to choose this offer or not, if they are not too far away, yeah. So that's why it's part of a term and condition. So that's why when we get on especially as a buyer's agent, you need to educate your buyer. We got so many ways to get the deal. Not only way is pricing. It's not the highest price win. Not really. If the highest price of FHA loan, ooh. So some seller will have a second thought. Just like last time I tell you, you can shorten the contingency period if you can. That's one of the terms and conditions. But you need to educate your buyer. Are you capable to do that?
We could shorten inspection, but sometimes you gotta have to double check with the lender.
Can they deliver and perform? 21 days, can you shorten to 14 days? Possible, but can they perform?
Another thing is that you basically tell the seller, if you're accepting my offer, I will increase my initial deposit after 1 week later. Can we do that?
Yeah. And if I default at the end, you can keep all my deposit. Ooh. I know even Northern California, they're still doing that. It's like they remove all contingency before they open escrow.
Ooh.
But the way they do it, that before they open escrow, they did a lot already. For example, they did an inspection already. They review all the disclosure statement and escrow paperwork, so the title report and the natural hazard disclosure statement before they open escrow. Because the seller over there in Northern California, they prepare everything when they get a listing. So that's the way to do it. Here, I don't know why our sellers so stingy. I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that until open escrow. Over there, they believe their house can be sold. So that's why they prepare everything. So when the buyer, they review everything and do the inspection right away. Well, basically, you have no way to, turn down. And if they pay all cash, well, why not? Yeah, they can remove all contingency, right? But if they are financing, you better tell your lender you get everything ready. Maybe we'll shorten the loan contingency to 7 days. Who knows? Right? So their escrow could be shortened because they do a lot of preparation before that. Why? They have those confidence. Do you know what's a percentage increase on the housing, the pricing wise in San Jose last year? No. 34%. In 2017, in San Jose area, the housing pricing, they increased average 34%. And we're still crying here. The house keep on going. Go to Northern California. If you went there,
If you gone there, you come back to Southern California, everything's cheap, dirt cheap.
Remember last time I told you the median price, and that's not really accurate anymore. Because last time in the early year, I believe probably increased to easily 1.6 million median price. Early last year is 1.35 million. That's their median price. Okay, and we are crying, oh, our median price $550,000. Yeah, they're about 2.5 times more than we do. And last year, how much we increased here? Well, probably from 5 to 10%, depending on the area. Over there, 34%. Yeah. Do you think the definitely, you know, for if the East Coast, those are rich people, they want to move a better weather area, okay? See how cold they are. If those are rich people, they want to move. They probably will move to LA. It's because still cheap, dirt cheap. Because they don't care to move to Northern California, Southern California. But they could get more money in Southern California if people from New York, Boston, everything, okay? And we're cheap here. That's why our population increased last year, $120,000. 120,000 people. But do we build 120,000 houses? No. So that's why in the better area, especially those 120,000 people, they actually focus in LA County area. So did you ever accepting those offer they directly from Northern California? They submit the offer for Southern California property. Boy, when I see those offers, like I'm shocked. I say, boy, you remove all contingency already? I said, but they say, James, can you prepare, you know, all the disclosure statement for me? Ooh, I know that's how I know the way they are doing it. They want to do everything ahead of time before we open escrow. And they were glad to remove all contingency before open escrow. Hmm? I know. So that's why I have to explain to the seller, hey, that's a different way to do it. So we better perform, you know, and this maybe over the weekend. Sometimes, you know, that's why they're doing that. 22, dispute resolution, mediation. The party agreed to mediate any dispute of a claim arising between them out of the agreement and any result transaction before resorting an arbitration and court action through the CAR Real Estate Mediation Center for Consumer. Who is going to be the mediator? You can check on the website. Those are they will see the qualified people to be a mediator. Usually, as the realtors. Or through any other mediation provided or service. Mutual agreement to be the party. The party also agreed to mediate any dispute or claim with the broker who in writing agreed to such mediation prior to or within the reasonable time after the dispute or claim and presented to the broker mediation fee, if any, shall be divided equal amount the party involved. If any dispute claim to which this paragraph apply, any party, one, commencement of the action without first attempt to resolve the matter through the mediation. Two, before commencement of the action, refuse to mediate after the request has been made. Then the party shall be entitled to escrow attorney, recover attorney fee, even if they would otherwise be available to the party in such action. This mediation provision. Did I jump to the line? Oh yeah, no. Apply within the not to arbitration provision. Initiate exclusion from the mediation agreement are specified in paragraph 22C. basically the mediation, that's the first step if you have any dispute or any claim. If can buyer or seller refuse to mediate? Yes, they have a right to refuse. But if you don't go through mediation or arbitration, what's the consequence? Can you go to the court? Sure, you can go to the court if any dispute. But even seller or buyer, whoever the winning party, they can only get the compensation from the other party for whatever the cost. But the attorney fee, usually if you go through mediation, arbitration, then go to the court, then the losing party have to even pay the winning party attorney fee. But at this situation, if you skip mediation, arbitration, unfortunately, the winning party still need to pay their own attorney fee. And sometimes the attorney fee is more than the compensation. Because it happened to one of one of a buyer. Yeah, they sue the seller. Compensation is 10,000, attorney fee is 100,000. And they skip a mediation arbitration. Yeah, they got 10,000 from the buyer. From the seller. But they need to pay their $100,000 attorney fee by themselves. Right here. If you skip that, that's mean that's why they all stated right here. Here's arbitration too. Yeah, it is. They wrote it down here. Because they don't want to wasting a time with the court. Court is so busy. I don't know, do you guys went to the court? We don't like to. Well, unless it's auction, that's different. Other than that, we don't want to go to the court. Trying to dispute, you go to the window, okay? You go to the court, you go to the courthouse, but outside of a building, they have a window to pay your, citation, whatever, maybe, okay? Or sometimes I even fight for my parking. The parties agree that any dispute or claim in law or equity arising between them out of this agreement or any pursuing transaction, which is not settled through mediation, shall be decided by natural binding arbitration. The party also agreed to arbitration any dispute or claim with the broker who is in writing agreed to such arbitration prior to or within a reasonable time after the dispute or claims in presented to the broker. The arbitrator shall be retired judge or justice or attorney within at least 5 years of residential real estate law experience. Unless the party mutual agree to a different arbitrator, the party should have the right to discover in accordance with the Code of Civil Procedure 1283.05. In all other respect, the arbitration shall be conducted in accordance with the Title 9 of Part 3 of the Code of Civil Procedure. Judgment upon the award of the arbitration may be entered into the court having jurisdiction. Enforcement of this agreement to arbitrate shall be governed by the Federal Arbitration Act. Exclusion from this arbitration agree or specified in paragraph 22C. Well, at least, those are retirement judges, they still have a job to do. Not only they have a retirement pay, they have an arbitration pay. And they pay, I heard about at least about $400 an hour. Mediation is a whole lot cheaper, probably $250 to $300, and usually just 1 to 3 mediator. But the arbitration, they will have 3 to 5, depends. Then arbitration, you can bring the attorney. Usually mediation, you don't bring the attorney with you. But if you go through the court, that's even more costly than arbitration. So if we can settle before mediation, settle it. Why? It's not because of money. It's a pressure and a hassle. So those are, you're going to have to think twice. Is it worth it to go through those hassle? you can make more money continuously, you know, if you have those case with you. Deep inside your heart, you feel bad and you cannot, you know, fully perform. That's just the nature of a human being. That's it. Yeah. If you got lawsuit or you got any mediation, arbitration, you just don't feel good at all. Okay. And that's why I keep on continuously telling you, be careful, because we have 1/3 of a chance we'll get the lawsuit in our career time. And I don't want to be that 1/3 of those situations happen. I'd rather have free and clear 2/3. Some of them, if I sense the danger or any unreasonable issue, I'd rather walk away. I don't want to continue or make those risky money, put it this way.
Notice by the initial in the space below, you are agreed to have any dispute arising out of a matter, including in the arbitration of a dispute. Provision decided by neutral arbitration as provided by the California law, and you are giving up any right you might possess to have the dispute litigate in the court or jury trial. By initiating the space below, you are giving up your judicial right to discovery and appeal unless those rights are specially including in the arbitration of a dispute provision. If you refuse to submit arbitration after agreement to this provision, you may be completed to arbitration under the authority of the California Code of the Civil Procedure. Your agreement to this arbitration provision involuntary. We have read and understand the foregoing, agree to submit a dispute arising out of a matter, including the arbitration of dispute provision to neutral
arbitration. So if you say you don't want to go through arbitration, you don't want to initial on the bottom, you want to go to the court if any dispute or claim after that, just like not only the consequence you have to face, you have to pay your own attorney fee, and you cannot appeal either. They don't want you to wasting time with the court, keep on appealing, because you didn't go through mediation arbitration. You skip twice, 2 procedure. You go to the court and you want to get appealing. No, one settle for all, done, set. I received the, I'm the listing agent, and I work with the, I remember that case long time ago. I'm a dual agent. Receiving an offer, I submitted an offer with the attorney, buyer's attorney, and he refused to sign. Can I force him to sign it? No, I cannot force him to initial. But when seller asked me, I'm a dual agent, I gotta be honest with the seller too. I said, well, a buyer doesn't want to initial. So that means if anything wrong, any dispute, he demanded to go to the court, okay, directly. The seller said, then I don't want to sell this person. Right? So seller has a right to refuse to sign it. So I tell my buyer, well, because of my buyer, my seller, my buyer, I'm the dual agent. I tell my buyer, say, well, unfortunately, if you don't initial, then seller doesn't want to sell it to you. Then buyer, his attorney say, okay, fine, I'll initial. But according to the purchase agreement, once you submit it to the buyer, to the seller to present, can you come back to initial? You cannot. You cannot. It's a done deal. So what do? You put in a counter offer, right? You put in a counter offer. Say, buyer, agree. A paragraph, 22. So it has a time sequence. You cannot say, I presented the seller and come back. Initial. I know legally shouldn't be, but a lot of agents they're doing. Sometimes it's because they are not skip that because they forgot the initial, especially DocuSign. Why? Because the DocuSign, it's an option. If you keep on click, next, they will jump to the bottom. They will not jump to two middle on this because that's an optional initial. So as a buyer's agent, you have to, remind your buyer on the page number 8. Is it number 8 now? Used to be number 8. Oh, no, yeah, number 8. You have 3 initial. You got to reminding buyer on page number 8 of a purchase agreement. You have 3 initial, not just initial on the bottom, because the bottom I already mark it here, but I never mark here. It's because it's not obligation. It's an optional initial. Okay, we'll continue. Paragraph C, additional mediation arbitration term exclusion. The following matter are excluded from the mediation and arbitration. 1, the judicial and non-judicial foreclosure or other action or proceeding to entire a deed or trust, mortgage, and installment land sale contract as defined in Civil Code 2985. 2, unlawful detainer action. 3, any matter of this written jurisdiction and prorated small claim or bankruptcy court. Those are not in part of a mediation arbitration. If the seller file bankruptcy or whatever, okay. Because sometimes it may, when the seller filed, especially short sale, if the seller filed bankruptcy, it will delay. And the buyer, they cannot enforce the seller to sell the property as a short sale. It could happen. Very rarely you see the short sale now. Back in 2008, 2009, a lot of sellers, they file bankruptcy to delay the escrow. Delay the sale. I have one seller delay for 4 years without paying any mortgage payment, any property tax. I don't know about insurance. I believe so. 4 years. How much she make? $250,000. That's a 4 years payment. That's not even including the interest and penalty. Just the mortgage payment and property tax alone. Who told her that? I do. Because your house cannot be short sale. I try. And the bank is refused. Then you continue to stay there until it got foreclosed. Right? Okay. That's all I can say. You continue to stay there until it's just foreclosed. And the bank doesn't want the house back either. Because it's over $1 million house. They don't want it back. Too big. Until the housing market turned around. At 2011, bang, they foreclosed. Sometimes, sometimes seller, they got so scared, they got foreclosure. Say, don't be scared. Since you plan to let it go, let's do it good. Yeah. They don't care. Because next time, when I help him to buy it, he's using her son's name to finance. Who told her that? Or, huh? And or I got other guys say, well, if you want to buy it, using your son's name to buying all cash. Don't ever using your own name, because you filed a bankruptcy and you have still owing the debt. If you're using your name to buying all cash, if they found out, they get after you. To prevent that situation happen, using your relative or your son, whoever's name, but not your name. And your bank better don't have money. Where's those money coming from? Taiwan or China. Yeah. 什么叫上有对策？不，上有政策，下就有对策。对啊， yeah. Okay, number 2, preservation of action. The following should not constitute waiver nor violation of the mediation and arbitration provision. I just
Did I say that? Okay, the filing of a core action of a preserve a statutory limitation to the filing the core action enable the recording of a notice of a pending action for other of attachment, receivership, injunction, and other provisional remedies, or the filing the mechanical lien. Now, those are the mechanical lien that could happen. You know, if the seller didn't pay the contractor. But one time it happened to me. I know I experienced a lot of things. One time as one of a fake company. It is a fake company. They put in the lien to a property. And when the seller wanted to sell it, and they suddenly found out the lien is not big, $20,000. And if you want to resolve that issue, it take about 2 years because they have to go through FBI. But seller want to sell it now. So I have an attorney to settle with that company. And that company owned by, who knows, 20-some people. You cannot really after them. And that's a 20,000, because when we check on that, you can actually, and it's a fake lien. And actually the signature from the seller is also fake. Then that's, basically they want your money. Otherwise, you go through FBI, but even the FBI say it take about half a year. Okay, that's cheating. It is though, because anybody can put a mechanical lien or any promissory note link, and the promissory note, the signature is fake. So that's why when we look at it, I say, wait a minute, that's a fake one. But the seller want to sell it. What do we do? Have the attorney settle with it. I don't know. I know I'm representing the buyer, but the issue is after we purchase, bang, this company put it on another lien on the new, recording. Yeah, new title. So wait a minute. I talked to the attorney and said, did you have those people sign it? They cannot put the lien anymore. And yes. So they removed the lien right away. After I found out, right after I purchased the property, I double checked the title again. Bang, they put the lien right after we closed the escrow. Yeah. So with your request, recording? No. Because okay, the recording, actually the procedure, if I go back to see that particular property, the track record, you can, because they cannot remove, but the track record is there. They recorded a lien, they remove it. After close of escrow, they record it again and remove it again. Because the attorney said, if you don't remove it, then definitely we'll sue you. Because my buyer will sue the seller. The seller will sue those company or something. Then now the sellers already sold the property, right? They got plenty of time to fight with you. They will get all the money back if you don't remove it. Yeah. So that's how you get those companies. I already pay you. I'm not supposed paying you whatever the money may be. But now I already sold the property. If the buyer is suing me, and I will definitely sue your company, you need to pay those money back, and I will sue you to, because that's a felony. All of you have to go to jail. No, actually, that property is happening in Hacienda Heights. Yeah. So that means it's like right after you close the deal, I would double check. Sometimes once in a while, I double check. Even your own house, you double check. Who knows? Because county doesn't know. If you got the fake, because somebody notarized it, that guy could be the flake. He notarized it, the promissory note, bang, then they can record it into any property. Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. And that's a felony. It is, though. Those companies, they try to make some money. Yeah. And 3, broker shall not be obligated nor comply to mediate or arbitrate unless they agree to do so in writing. Any broker participating in mediation or arbitration should not be deemed a party to this agreement.
We are not obligated to join if the seller and buyer dispute, unless we agree. But we know if we don't join them, next time we get the lawsuit. Could be. So that's why you try to prevent those situations happen to begin with. Try not to get started with the mediation at all. So then you should be fine. Okay, you gotta have to know protect yourself first. Be careful for whatever the step you make. I know the more you learn, the more scary. More you practice in real estate, more scarier. Do you think am I scared? Yes, all the time. So do you think our money is easy? Not at all. So tell those people, if they want to join the real estate, welcome. You want to try the real estate? Welcome. Real estate will try you out. Yeah. That's why 80% now is increased to 85% of a newcomer. It will get eliminated in the first 3 years. Not just because of business. They cannot make it. Sometimes lawsuit. Just drive them away. They got discouraged though to continue practice on this. Yeah. 23, selection of a service provider. Broker do not guarantee the performance of any vendor, service, or product provider. Whether referred by the broker or selected by buyer, seller, or other person, buyer and seller may select any provider of their own choosing. So even when we refer to the service, we are still not responsible. Okay? Multiple listing service. Brokers are authorized to report to the MLS a pending sale and upon close of escrow. The sale price and other terms of this transaction shall be provided to the MLS to the publish and disseminate to person and entitled authorized to use the information returned and provided by the MLS. Let me ask you, when we are accepting the offer, how many days we have to change the status on the MLS? 48, 2 days. 2 days. You know, some of I call one of the agent. They say, "Oh, is that the property?" Oh yeah, that one is. We went into the escrow, but you know, because the community is the more than 50% are renter, so blah 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 blah. I say, well, how many times you went to the escrow? Oh, so several times. But how come you never change your status? More than 3 months, you never change your status. Do you think who will report it? I report him right away. MLS violation. Yeah. I even suggest, well, if that's the case, if on my own listing, I will put on agent remark. The community is more than 50%. Okay. So it has to be owner occupied to financing, not investor financing. Why are you wasting your time? Yeah, James, that's a good idea. Yeah. That's okay. That's a good idea. I will still report you. You violate. They must rule. Just like if you're accepting the offer, one of our co-worker, we all know who report that. Buyer's agent. Because after 2 days, you still haven't changed your status. The buyer's agent reported the listing agent. Why you did not change your status? And even our co-worker listing agent, James, is that correct? Yes. Your fault. You gotta have to gladly accept it. Somebody correct you. But we haven't received the initial deposit yet. So what? So what? You cannot using that and say, I haven't received it. Just like what you say, you accept the offer on Friday. You need to change your status on what? Sunday. But haven't you opened escrow on Monday? Are you going to change your status or what?
Yes. Because who knows? Somebody will report you. That's a buyer's agent. Because he doesn't, especially because the listing agent continue to show that property and piss the buyer's agent off because still show active. And why I report that agent? Because I showed that property last week and he already opened the escrow a long time and he said, go direct. And go direct, usually we don't check is it available or not, right? Okay, you're just wasting my time. That's why we're going to report you. It's because they want to make sure they can be financed. Come on, then you're going to have to wait until the final approval before you change the status. How many days can it be that? At least 3 weeks later. Definitely, I'm going to report you. And not only that, you say, oh, Willie went in and out escrow so many times. Ha! Who says so? You do, not me. Yeah, it's more than 100 days on the market. Then you went into the escrow in and out. I will report you. So that's the MAS rule. 25. Attorney fee. If any action proceeding arbitration between the buyers and seller arising out of agreement, the prevailing buyer or seller shall be entitled to reasonable attorney fee and costs from non-prevailing buyers and seller, except for the providing paragraph 22A. So those are arbitration mediation. Those are, you gotta have agreement with that. Because those are usually after the arbitration, they will settle for who paid the attorney fee. 26, assignment. Buyer should not assign all or any part of a buyer's interest in this agreement without first having obtained the separated written consent of a seller to a specified assignee. Such consent should not be unreasonable, withheld. Any total partial assignment should be released buyers and buyer's obligation pursuing to this agreement unless otherwise agreed in writing by the seller. What's that? Assignment. So the assignment is the, what's the assignment? Buyer assign what? Any idea? No, you know what? The assignment basically, you assign any part of a buyer's interest in this agreement. Okay, buyer should not assign all or any part of a buyer's agreement in this agreement without first having obtained the separate written consent of the seller to specify assignee. What kinds of stuff, you know? Think about anything on the lease items. Well, usually a commercial, that's a sublease, but I mean, solar panel, you have to assign, right? You have to separate sheet to assign. Okay, solar panel, the buyer have to assign. Okay, because you have to continue with the, and also another thing is like alarm. Okay, some of the alarm company, they have 3 years contract. Then buyer, when they buy, are they going to continue assign with it? Or sometimes they're signing the contract with the like water softener company, right? Okay. Another thing is that what is going to be assigned? Hero program. That's assigned from the property tax. Are you going to accept it? Anything the buyer have to accept the way it is from the seller, that's considered assignment. Then you got to have a separate addendum or something like that, and make sure the buyer understand. Usually, if you don't issue, escrow will. Escrow will issue the separate. Escrow doesn't want lawsuit either. They will issue the amendment for that. Oh, buyers understand you have to assume and assign this. Because you have to, you know, go through all, for example, solar panel. Isn't the buyer have to go through all the lease agreement from the seller? Yeah, whatever the existing one. And the buyer have to call the solar panel company, see if they will qualify. Usually they will. And continue to assume and assign the lease. And if the buyer doesn't want to assign the lease, can you have the seller pay it off? Possible. But seller doesn't want to pay it off, then don't buy it. So sometimes the house with a solar panel, it could be a killer.
So far, what I can see in Southern California is not the positive action when the house with the solar panel. Most of the buyers still doesn't like to have a solar panel because our electricity bill is still fairly cheap. Yeah, especially I don't, turn on the air conditioning myself. Then why I need a solar panel for? Wasting my money because the lease is not cheap. Easily $100, $150 per month, and my electricity bill not even that. Summer $20, winter $80. Then why should I have to get a solar panel? So that's why those solicitor, visiting my home, I thought, oh, that's it. You don't need solar panel. They know. how much your Edison bill? Oh, this is how much. Oh, you don't need solar panel. Yeah. Okay. They know. 27, we all know that equal housing opportunity. 28, terms and conditions of the offer. This is the offer purchase the property on the same on the above term and condition. The liquidation damage paragraph and the arbitration of dispute paragraph incorporated in this agreement if initiated by all party or if incorporated by mutual agreement in the counter offer or addendum. If the least one but not all party initial a counter offer is required until agreement is reached, seller has the right to continue offer the property for sale and to accept any other offer at any time prior to notification acceptance. So if you did not complete it on any counter offer or any part of a purchase agreement, do it right away. Otherwise, seller can accept other offer. The party has read and acknowledged receive a copy of an offer and agreed to confirmation of an agency relationship. If this offer is accepted and buyer acknowledge receipt of a copy of the offer and agree to the confirmation of agency relationship. If the offer is accepted by the buyer subsequently default, buyer may be responsible for payment of a broker's compensation. This agreement and any supplement, addendum, modification, include any copy may be signed and two or more counterpart, all of which shall constitute one of the same writing. So the if you do, if you guys, signing for the sometimes that doesn't mean the buyer maybe sometimes buyer need to pay the broker's compensation. That's the situation. Okay, if the buyer may be responsible for that, if the buyer's default. And usually, if we really want to protect ourselves, you signing the buyer's agreement. Did you ever guys watch a buyer's agreement? Technically, I haven't signed anything before, but I learned from it the hard way. But I was starting doing that if I sense anything unloyal buyer, especially people coming out from open house. They could lie to you. They don't have agent. And end up, ooh, okay, you want me to submit an offer? Fine. I'm a dual agent. I gotta protect myself. You don't have to buy any other houses from me, but this house, I'm gonna let you sign a buyer's agreement. Could happen. So other agent cannot challenge me. Hey, your buyer signing the buyer's agreement. How do I know? Because they say they don't have an agent and they're willing to sign the buyer's agreement with me on particular this property. I didn't really ask for more property. If you challenge me and say you can show them other property, persuade them, don't buy it. It's okay. I put the time frame and I put the address, or I can protect myself. And sometimes, or as a listing agent, or if you want to present it, somebody want to fire their own agent and they didn't know what they're signing, sometimes you let them sign a buyer's agreement again and issue an addendum. They say, I make sure James Chow is my buyer's agent, representing me to purchase. And you put the address, on the addendum. I mean, you're only representing him on this property. Because some people they want to fire their previous agent and they don't know how to do it. And especially some of a buyer's agent, they submit the offer before and throw them under the bus, stick it in the buyer's agreement into the purchase agreement, and the buyer just sign, and they don't know what they are signing for. Just like last time I told you, it's like listing agent, they can submit a remove contingency into all your disclosure statement, and the buyer sign. Then as a buyer's agent, you didn't even review the document from your buyer after they sign, and you send all of them back to the listing agent. You just remove a CR, all contingency. Right after you open escrow, you're signing all the disclosure statement, and you also remove contingency removal. You better pray hard you close the deal. Yeah. It can be sneaky. Okay? This job, you just have to check, double check, triple check. It won't hurt. Okay? Don't assume anything. If you make any assumption, it'll kill you. Okay, we'll stop here, then we'll continue on the paragraph 29. I should receive, by next Tuesday, I should finish everything and continue with the buyer's inspection advisory. Yeah. I know it takes a long time for purchase agreement. Yeah.